So when I got introduced to Bitcoin, I did what everybody does. I did a little research, and you hear about this person, guy, self-identified once as a guy, Satoshi Nakamoto. And so I typed in Satoshi Nakamoto into Google, and what comes back is Intelligence Central. The word Satoshi means intelligence, and Nakamoto is the surname of families from the central provinces in Japan. Mike, Intelligence Central, that sounds really close to CIA. So, okay, what if the NSA, CIA, somebody did create this?
Numerous theories abound regarding the origins of Bitcoin and its purpose. Among the more unsettling and conspiratorial notions is the idea that the U.S. National Security Agency was behind its creation. A few years ago, the CIA Project, a group dedicated to unveiling secret endeavors undertaken by U.S. intelligence agencies, released a video asserting that the NSA was the architect of Bitcoin. Their primary contention revolved around Bitcoin's enigmatic creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, whose name loosely translates to Central Intelligence in Japanese, suggesting a link to the CIA. The video also posited that Satoshi's ability to maintain anonymity pointed to intelligence training, given that no one has met them, and there's no definitive way to identify them. Additionally, discussions have surfaced regarding Tatsuaki Okamoto, a genuine cryptographer who penned a paper on peer-to-peer systems in 2007. Rumors suggest that the NSA was aware of Okamoto's work and might have drawn inspiration from it to develop Bitcoin. While these theories have been debunked multiple times over the years, Mark Yusko, a respected hedge fund manager and Bitcoin advocate, proposes that even if these assertions hold merit, Bitcoin's trajectory remains unaffected. In a recent interview, Yusko speculated that the NSA's potential involvement in Bitcoin could stem from a realization among those in power that the demise of the US dollar was imminent, prompting the search for a controlled replacement. He also acknowledges Bitcoin's lack of a backdoor but expresses uncertainty regarding the same for other, more centralized cryptocurrencies.
Stop. You don't have time. Don't miss out this 2025 bull run. Educate yourself first ahead of the crowd. We have created the ultimate step-by-step crypto cheat guide that will guide you this bull run. Unlock the secrets of crypto and make smarter investments today. Now by clicking on the link below to get your exclusive copy just under $10.
What if the NSA, CIA, somebody did create this? And if you go back 2 years, 2007, there was a paper sponsored by the NSA written by Nakoshi Sakamoto. I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's basically just a homonym. And it's a real person. He was the head of cryptography for NTT in Japan. And it basically talked about a peer-to-peer system. I'm like, okay, that's weird. What if the NSA did create this and it was designed because they knew that the dollar was dead? Well, why did they know that? Well, from 1776, when the Republic was formed, we spun out of the parent company, the UK, and we set up this little shop in the United States. And from 1776 to 1913, a dollar was worth $1. Now, it had a little fluctuation around a depression and a war, but it was worth $1. There was no inflation because there was no central bank. And in 1913, we copied the Bank of England, which had copied the Dutch National Bank. Right, so the Dutch National Bank was the first central bank in 1607, which explains partly how the Netherlands, which is about the size of Ohio, conquered the Spanish Armada. So just think about that. So Portugal was the world reserve currency, the most powerful nation in the world. Then Spain took them over. And then somehow, little Netherlands takes over Spain. Well, because they financed a mercenary army by printing money out of thin air. So then they get a little overextended, send people all over the world to settle. And Napoleon comes in and conquers them. So the French take over for a while. But then a bunch of people from the Rothschild clan came to the UK and set up the Bank of England. Well, the Bank of England then financed steamships. So then they took over from France. Well, then, as we seceded from the UK, we set up this thing in 1913 coincidentally, the same year as the Fed was created. The UK invaded Mesopotamia, incurred a bunch of debt. The pound sterling started to collapse. And over the next 31 years, now it took 31 years for the US, right, which was a little upstart nobody from nowhere, to suddenly take over. The sun never set on the British Empire, right? The pound sterling was the world reserve currency. It was the most powerful. But we got nuclear, and we set up something called Bretton Woods, where everyone agreed that we would have the world reserve currency. So since 1944, the U.S. has been the top dog, mostly because of naval might. So what's interesting about all of that is the central bank controls everything. Well, how do they do that? Well, they do it by controlling the value of the currency and, again, siphoning the money to the top of the pyramid.
Supporters of these theories argue that the NSA created Bitcoin to provide the U.S. government with the means to potentially seize all Bitcoin holdings, thus facilitating a reset of the financial system. While this scenario is not entirely implausible, there exists an alternate perspective. It suggests that an individual or group, inspired by the near collapse of the financial system between 2007 and 2008, observed how central banks responded by printing copious amounts of money. This group may have seized the opportunity to unveil a project they had been developing for years, believing that the crisis had sufficiently educated the public about the flaws in the trust system. As Yusko eloquently describes the traditional banking system, it need not be the work of the CIA or NSA. The decay in our financial infrastructure has become increasingly evident, apparent to anyone who takes even a moment to contemplate the depreciation of fiat currencies over the past 5 decades. Let's return to Yusko's interview.
The point I was making about Satoshi Nakamoto, and then I'll answer the second part, was I came to the thought that, wait a second, if the government figured out that their only way out is through devaluation of the currency, so they're going to destroy the dollar the same way every other republic has destroyed their currency in the history of time when they get too far in debt. And you look at the history of empires, they all fail for the same reason. They get overly indebted and their currency crashes. And so if that's the case, they get everyone to exchange fiat for this Bitcoin thing, and then they steal it all out a back door. What if that's true? Okay, so we're really lucky. So Morgan Creek Digital, one of our venture partners is this guy named Scott Stornetta. And Scott Stornetta actually coined the term blockchain with his partner Stuart Haber in 1991. Wow. If you read the Bitcoin white paper, he's in the back 3 times. There are 8 footnotes. His are 3 of them. He knows a lot about the technology. And so I asked him, I said, I've thought about this. And he said, well, I've never really thought about that. That's an interesting concept. No. It's like that fast, Ben. He said, no. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He says, well, it's certainly possible that the NSA could have been the developer. I mean, it's certainly possible. It's a pseudonymous inventor, and no one knows who he is. But, okay, it's possible. But the way you're thinking about the back door isn't possible in Bitcoin because of the air gap. He said, now with Ethereum, that could have a back door. It's like, whoa. So, topic for another day. So, the point on the government taking it, the government can't seize Bitcoin. It's decentralized, right? They would have to hack 51% of the computer simultaneously. Even the government can't do it. Can they make it illegal? Can they do an Executive Order 6102 like 1933? This is funny too. On 4/5/33, Executive Order 6102, they basically made gold illegal. If you type Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, it's 4/5/75. 4/5, nod to Executive Order 6102. 75, when that was reversed and made gold legal again.
Wow.
It's kind of wild. And so if Satoshi were, right, government agency, they can't steal it all. Okay, so then why would they do it? Well, they could be doing it because they know the dollar is doomed and this would be a better system, and they could create hegemony by having that big wallet, and then they could move that once it becomes worth, many, many, many billions. Can they make it illegal? Well, they can try, but the problem is they can't seize it from you. I mean, literally, right? Because they could, if you hold it at Coinbase or some centralized place like Mt. Gox, okay, they could seize that. There are some laws around that. I mean, if they went to your brokerage account and seized your assets, I mean, they have to have some reason for that. But government's good at making up reasons. I mean, they seized the Russian assets with no cause. But okay, but what about if you hold it yourself in cold storage on a ledger drive? Well, then come to your house and say, "Give me your seed phrase." Nope, I forgot it. You can point a gun at your head or your kid's head. Now, is the government going to come to your house with a gun and threaten your family? I don't think so. But look, in a Mad Max world, anything's possible. Yeah. So from that perspective, it's very safe and secure because it's so decentralized.
Unlike physical assets such as real estate, Bitcoin offers the advantage of not tying one down to a specific country or region, regardless of restrictive regulations. There's no need to endure the stress of adhering to stringent rules to retain ownership, nor is there the burden of physically transporting it to evade governmental control. This mobility is just one of the many attractions of the leading cryptocurrency. Even in the event of governments attempting to seize all assets, Bitcoin holders can easily navigate through such financial upheavals. This underscores the importance of self-custody, a principle repeatedly emphasized by Bitcoin enthusiasts. Not your keys, not your coins. What are your reflections on Mark Yusko's interview? Please share your insights in the comments below. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.